And welcome to another episode of Connecting Live with me, your host, Lydia Daydal. Well, we are once again going to be joined by Mr. Fight Connect TV, also known by you, the fans, as the White Rhino, Dave Allen. So stay tuned and we'll get him connected. Don't forget, if you've got any questions for Dave, make sure to pop them into the question box and we will ask them at the end of the interview, or I will, if they're good. Dave, use the link now to connect.
Yeah,
Hi.
I don't reckon of a plate. Hello, love, you all right?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Sharp on time, 7 on the bell. This is how
Yeah,
we
you're
do
done
it.
well. You know, usually I'm waiting for 7 minutes. 7 minutes is a long time.
Well, here we are. And how are
All right.
you?
I'm very well, Lydia. How are you, my love?
Yeah, good. Just waiting patiently, just trying to do as much work as possible while
Coming to the ends, aren't you?
coming to the ends. This is
Coming
it.
to the ends.
So we've loads to catch up on. I said we'd do something a little bit different today because we usually kind of get on and we just talk about what's going on and different things. I know you're going to bring the lads on in a little bit. The lads,
yeah.
we have them all introduced to the little audience, set up some interviews for down the line and things. But we're going to talk about the weekend's fighting because that's what you're good at, right?
Yeah.
So I have my notes because I know I will forget a fight if I don't. So we start with Frank Warren.
Yep.
Frank Warren, right, straight off the bat, Dennis McCann versus Luis Moreno. What do we think? Did we watch it?
Dennis McCann's unbelievable talent, you know. He's so big at the weight. He moves so well. He can do everything, really. I think with him, it's just a case he's got to mature physically.
Yeah.
And at the top level, I think his boxing ability is already there. He's so big at the weight. He's got to stay at the weight. If he can't move up, that's fine. But at the minute, I don't see many people troubling him, you know, unless you get onto European and world level. You know, some good fighters like Liam Davis, I think it is. He's a good fighter who was on a Warren show not long ago. I'm not in boxing him. That's a hard fight, but he's very, very good, you know.
What about the last one? I can't remember who he fought in his last fight, but
Pedro Matos.
That's it. And he got a bit...
I don't even keep notes.
Well, it's your brain, you see. You're very clever. And you don't forget.
Never forget.
Never forget, right? But he got a bit of stick online after that fight because people were like, oh, he got into a little bit of bother, you know, where he's not as good as we thought or we've been told he is. But again, he's so young, he's learning.
Well, at that part of your career, if you're not getting any kind of trouble in your early career, in your first 10, 15 fights, because trust me, you need to get in trouble in them kind of fights. You need to think at least and have some kind of problem. Otherwise, when you get to 15 fights, 15 to 20, you're not going to have trouble. You're going to get knocked out. You know, how often are we seeing now fighters getting pushed into fights what they're not ready for because the matchmaking's horrific? Dennis McCann's last 2 fights have been about right. He's 20 years old, I think, 19 maybe. I think he's still 19.
Yeah,
he's boxing good fighters. You know, of course they'll level 2 above him, but that's where he needs to be at the minute. Why would you put him in life and deaths?
But we're now in a time, especially with everything that's happened in the last year, that we're seeing more of this kind of 50-50 fights. So is that what you're saying? Are you saying that it's not 50-50, it's more like 70-30?
Well, it depends who you are. I manage a fighter called Levi Kinciona, right? I think he's 7-1. Good fighter, but he's 7-1 and he's 26. You know, I don't think he sells hundreds of tickets. So he's got to be a 50-50 fight because in the times we're in, he's got to go now. He's got to fight someone good. For him to get a good fight, he wants to be on TV or he wants to have a fight that's meaningful. Got to have a 50-50. You've got to. You've got to. But Dennis McCann, he's got Frank Warren backing him, BT backing him. He's 19 years old. So they're going to build him. He's got time. And he's not fighting dumplings anyway. Matos is not a bad fighter at all.
Yeah.
And the fellow he boxed the other day is not bad either. So I think they match him about right, to be honest. And we're going to move on to Willie Hutchinson in a minute.
We're going to move on right now. Go on, go for it.
The main reason why he got beat is because he's been matched horrifically, appallingly so. And I'm not once to I told you so, because I like Willie a lot, but I texted Danny Morel Saturday morning. I said, Danny, Willie is in big trouble tonight, you know, because you can't go from... I couldn't even tell you who Willie's been boxing, to be honest. I couldn't even tell you who's been fighting. I don't even know. I've watched him and I don't know the names. You can't... He boxed Ben Thomas 2 fights ago. It was 2, 3, and 3 at a low level. You don't go from that Yeah, he can pass the eye test, but can he box as a middleweight for 12 rounds? The other day, he even boxed at it for 4 rounds. You know, since his last fight as an amateur, he's not been hit back. He's not been hit for years apart from in the gym, and that don't count. That counts for nothing at the end of the day. They're not matching these fighters correctly, in my opinion.
But surely there's some amount of, we'll say in particular with Willie, like his team and the conversations that they're having with promoters, they obviously believe in him very much and they have every faith that he was able to beat him.
That doesn't make a difference. Doesn't matter what you think. The results shown on Saturday. Clarke is not a world beater. He's never going to be a world champion, right? But the Leron Richards fight showed he can do 12 rounds at super middleweight, and Leron Richards is a good fighter, so he's shown his level. He's good. He's not a world beater, but he's good. He's tough, and he can do 12 rounds at 12 stone. He can weigh in at 12 stone the day before, and the day after do 12 rounds at a good pace. Willie Hutchinson's never showed that. He never showed he can fight 8 super middleweight and be for 12 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not here to tell anyone how to do the job, because there's people out there like Dominic Ingle who are way more experienced and know more than me. And it's not a dig just at Willie. Look at Anthony Yard when he boxed Kovalev. Look at the Ward against Joyce. They're chucking him in the deep end, and they're not sure if he can swim or not. You know.
Do you think that this loss it will be harmful to Willie?
I think so. Yeah.
In what capacity do you think that it's harmful?
Well, getting knocked out is never good for nobody. Getting it like that is not good for nobody. Physically, nobody wants to be getting it like that. It wasn't a very nice knockout, and I think a lot of Willie, and I didn't enjoy watching it at all.
No.
Also, confidence is a big issue now. Confidence is a big issue. Is he a super middleweight? I don't know. I'm not in the know, so I don't know. But I watched it. Like I said, I texted Danny that morning on about Willie, because Willie's good friends with Danny, and I think about Willie as well. I'm just saying, I don't think he's ready for this, mate. But I'm not saying that I know more than anyone else. I'm just saying, look, these are factors, and it's easy to be wise after the event. But some of the matching that we've seen lately has just been poor, and I think a lot of it's still rushing people into being superstars. They want everyone to be a superstar tomorrow, and you can't be a superstar tomorrow. You've got to work your way up there in every walk of life, but in boxing especially, it doesn't work like that, and you can't underestimate anybody. So, as good as I was for Willie losing, for Clarke, unbelievable result for him.
Absolutely. Fair play to him. Good points with the rushing along, but that we've talked about this before, in that it seems to be it's kind of like a cultural thing. Not only in boxing, it's sort of like this fast-paced life that we're living now, where social media, like everyone wants like the results before they bloody do the test.
You could rush everything. Blaine Whyte train is ready to turn pro tomorrow. I could turn him pro tomorrow. He could box 10 gentlemen and he beat him.
Yeah.
But fight 11 when he's got to fight for the area title, he's not ready to win that area title. So what is the point in doing it? It's like, it's great knocking over Dumplings, looking great for 18 months, bit of sponsorship money coming in. But as soon as you step up, you're getting beat. What's the point? And it's not me being negative or saying I know more than person A, B, or C. These, in my opinion, just the facts of it. We rush everything. Yeah. Everyone rushes everything, not just boxing. We rush everything these days. I rush everything. I was matched completely, horrifically wrong. I either was a 1-100 favourite or I was 10-1 against. Very rarely was I in the right fights. I never built up my career properly. I was never allowed to. I did the best with what I had, and I've learned from that now. And I can see now in the manager trainer role that I'm in now, I've learned from my own mistakes, sadly or not.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, sadly. Everything's a learning curve, right? Okay, next, because I want to talk about you and meet the guys and everything. I don't want to be here yapping all night. I know you're busy. Nathan Gorman, obviously another win for Nathan at the weekend.
Yeah, Nathan looked good Saturday. I sparred him a couple of weeks ago.
I was just about to say.
But he looked after me. He was nice to me. There was none of what happened on Saturday.
Well, first of all, what were you doing sparring in retirement? Were you just like, I'll float up, or what happened?
Me and Josh Sandlin and me was going to spar. I didn't want Josh doing too many rounds because he's dropping to light heavyweight. Yeah. I wanted a few rounds for Josh. Look, I met the rounds up, Nath. Anyway, Josh couldn't make it, so I ended up going and doing them all myself. I didn't do all of them. I did 4. But I didn't want to let him down because I said that would come. So even if Josh could go, I said, look, I'll come and give you 4. They weren't saying the world like how good the rounds were, but I got him in, got him some work done, and that's what he wanted. So Did 4 rounds with him, but Saturday he looked brilliant. Pavel Sauer's not a bad fighter at all, and he took him apart. So I thought he looked great, and I think the world of Nathan is such a lovely man. And he looked really well. People forget that he's only a baby. He's only 24.
Yeah.
Which in heavyweight talk is like an 18-year-old middleweight. So I think he'll go a very long way.
How did it feel being back in the ring, even just for sparring?
I enjoyed it. I've not sparred since the Usyk fight. Since Usyk spar, sorry, I've not sparred since. So there was no trepidation to it because Nathan's a good friend of mine, and to be fair, he did look after me. Well, it wasn't nothing heavy; it was steady. I really enjoyed it, and I love boxing, but it wasn't the easiest thing I've ever done. I was a bit tired, but I am a little bit fat as well.
Right, before we move on to the matchroom card, last one, Mark Chamberlain and Jordan Ellison. Did you watch it?
I've known Jordan a long time because he used to be managed by Mick Marsden, so I'd seen Jordan box a lot. Jordan was a good amateur, and he's not a journeyman because he still tries to win. Like he's not accepted the role of Jordan. Go and box, mate, because nobody will stop him if he didn't. If Jordan didn't want to get stopped, he wouldn't get stopped, but he tries to win. It's like, Jordan, come on. I seen Lee Connolly the other week. Lee Connolly's lost about 50 fights, won 70. What's Luke Campbell? What's the other people? I said, Lee, stop trying to win because all you're doing is getting beat up. Just earn your money, mate. He's like, no, I need to entertain. Like, Lee, come on. Lee could have 300 fights, never get stopped, but he tries to. And Jordan's the same, but Chamberlain, he looks really good because stopping Jordan in a round is a very good result because Jordan can fight. So he looks really good.
Okay. Matchroom. Well, obviously, first fight. Pfeiffer versus Webb. We might as well get that out of the way.
Kane Baker was on first on YouTube.
Oh, Kane and Yusuf Kimura, yeah.
To be honest, I watched literally 45 seconds of the fight, right? And I turned it off.
Why?
Because Kane Baker's a lovely man.
Yeah.
And he's tough, and he's probably too tough for his own good because when he's up at that level boxing Yusuf Kimura of the world, who's a very, very good fighter, very sharp and very talented, Kane's too tough for his own good, but he hasn't got the boxing skills hanging there with him. So I knew what was coming, just a one-sided drubbing, Kane's a lovely man, and he is probably too tough for his own good. So I didn't watch it because I didn't want to see what was about to unfold. But hopefully Kane gets another chance, and it'd be nice for him just to get him a Midlands area title fight in a 10-rounder, put him in with another game man, and you would get an unbelievable fight out of him. Because I want to see Kane Baker win. I'm not interested in watching Yusuf Kimura's of the world because these are really high-class fighters. I want to see him in a 50-50 for a Midlands area or an English title because you get a fucking unbelievable fight out of him.
Why do you think Kane Baker is so liked?
Just a good, genuinely good, nice person. And as a fighter, his game, and you're going to get 100% out of him, you're going to get. So, I hope Eddie keeps working with him. And when the tech shows to Birmingham, say, you know what, Kane, 10-rounder Midlands area title fight, go out there and fucking get everything. And he will every single time. So, I hope they persevere with him. I hope they get him a title fight on TV, and we're getting the same out of him every single time. Getting the right opponent, you get a great fight.
Absolutely. Fight for Webb.
Well, Nick Webb, yeah. I've not Nick Webb out, so. But I watched it. You know what? I was so happy for him. Pfeiffer's shot to pieces. Pfeiffer's done. I watched him box Anthony Joshua in the World Championship semi-final 2011, right? That Pfeiffer beats Nick Webb comfortably. This Pfeiffer's shot, finished, done with the game, useless, no good at all. That's the top of he's useless. He's gone. His body's gone. He's shot to pieces. Nick Webb's shite, yeah. Nick Webb's no good at all. He can't punch for toffee. He's slow. He's slow as a Monday morning at school or work. Not really works on a Monday morning, but he's slow as sin. And you know what? I was so happy for him. I was really happy for him. I thought, you know what, Nick? Brilliant, mate. Because he's a good man, yeah. And I seen the post-fight interview and just making excuses up about when he boxed me. And I just thought, there's no need to do that, Nick. Because I would never do that about anyone I box. Lenroy Thomas, I give him credit for beating me because he beat me. And same with David Price and same with Ortiz and same with everyone else that beat me. But I thought it showed a real lack of class. And it really bothered me.
Do you think that he... there's an alternative or an ulterior motive in doing that?
I don't think so because he's going to fight Alan Babbage and get knocked out anyway. So what's the point? He knows I'm not going to box him anyway. What's the point?
Well, a few people that were, on social media were saying, "Is this Nick Webb trying to set up, a rematch with you?"
He showed a real lack of class, in my opinion, in saying what he said. He said that he had no time to train for me. He was boxing Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce pulled out, and I boxed Nick Webb. I came in at 6 days' notice, and I had concussion a few weeks before from the Yoka fight, and they knew all that. That's why all week at the workout, at the press conference, at the weigh-in, his whole team was like, "Yeah, come and sit with us." I was sitting with them for dinner and stuff because there was nice people, but they was laughing all week. They was laughing at my antics. They was laughing at me coming back from a Brazilian all you can eat. They was laughing at me in the bar till 5 a.m. They was laughing at me, it's looking at my belly. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to knock you Sparko on Saturday. All along, I was just looking at him, laughing, thinking, Dave Allen's shot to pieces, he's done. And I thought, Nick, I seen you box Andre Bunga. You're absolutely shite. You're no good. And if you're no good, I'll knock you out. And I did, because you were no good. Anyone in my career I boxed that weren't very good, they got knocked out. Because I was better than, I was good. You know, if you was better than good, you probably beat me. If you weren't, you get knocked out, and that's where Nick Webb lies. He's not very good. And I didn't like the way, and I really liked him before Saturday, but what he said, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I'm not sure if he's deluded or he's an idiot, but he's one of the two anyway.
You were generally upset over it.
Yeah, I just thought it showed a real lack of class. When he boxed Camille Sokolowski and got beat, I was one of the first to message him. You know, when he won the Ultimate Boxer tournament, I was the first one in the changing room. Congratulations, Nick. It's great to see. When he beat Eric Pfeiffer, there was not many people more happy than me. And to see him say something, and to see his team saying something like that, I thought, Nick, no. And I messaged him as well. And I messaged him after the fight on Saturday as well. I said, you won't beat me with a fucking sledgehammer in either hand. And he wouldn't. He fucking wouldn't either. I'd take him off and I'd smash him on the fucking head with it. And that's the top and bottom of it. But apart from that, I'm all right.
You're going to get me in a lot of trouble. Cheeseman, JJ Metcalf.
That was an unbelievable fight, yeah. Really.
What two bloody what? JJ Metcalf, Warrior.
Well, Teddy Cheese.
Cheeseman.
First of all, Teddy Cheese. Teddy Cheese. I love Teddy Cheese. I remember when Teddy Cheese lost to Scott Fitzgerald in Newcastle. I went back to the hotel, and his old man was there, and they were gutting. Teddy Cheese said to me, he goes, Dave, I'm not going to fight again. And do you know what I said to him?
Go on.
Do you know what I said? I said, shut up, you silly bastard. I said, you are an unbelievable fighter. Because I thought he beat Scott Fitzgerald. I said, Teddy. I didn't say Teddy at the time. He went Teddy Cheese at the time. He was just Ted Cheeseman. I went, Ted, shut up, you silly bastard. I said, you're an unbelievable fighter. You were a great amateur, Ted. Brilliant amateur. He's a good fighter. And if he boxed more to the best of his ability all the time, I think he'd be world class. He boxed for the world title 100%.
Mm-hmm. But he's very young as well. He's still only a baby in the game.
But he's so macho. I just wish he'd boxed more.
Yeah.
But Metcalf physically as strong as a man I've seen in the British ring for a long time.
And
I got through round 4, round 11. I thought it was unbelievable. But it was fight of the night, and I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Me too. It was my fight of the night too. Congo versus McKinson.
Well, that was a big shock to me because I thought
Congo
Congo would win. I've seen McKinson a few times. I thought, you know what, he's good, McKinson, but looking at his record, now he's not got much power. And I thought Congo would be too big for him, too strong hit to her. But McKinson was great. He's extremely clever, and beating Chris Congo is a great result. So I was really, really impressed. I was surprised, but that's not a disrespectful thing. That's just like Chris Congo's a very good fighter. So that really, my surprise of him beat McKinson winning was not because McKinson's not really good, but because how highly I rated Congo. So it's a great result for McKinson.
Absolutely. Fabio Wardley versus Molina.
Well, Molina should never box again. Molina should never ever box again.
Why do you say that?
Because at this point of his life, in his career, he's got an heart the size of a pea. He had Fabio beat. Fabio looked horrific on Saturday. He looked terrible.
Come on, Dave. You didn't look horrific.
He looked terrible. He has no. He can't do the basics. For the experience he's got, yeah, he's fantastic. For Whyte, 5 White Collar pro fights, fighting Eric Molina in itself and the wins he's got, I think he's done great. I think he's great for his experience. Yeah, unbelievable. Like it's hardly fathomable to see what he's achieving with the experience he's got. He's unbelievable. I'll take my hat off to him. But if you watch Eric Molina on Chief Sport pay-per-view, yeah, you've got to be much better than that. You know, I bought David Price. He said the same about me that night because I was Chief Support, but he hasn't got a straight left jab. He can't block shots in a normal. You can't block a shot. He wants to make a miss with his movement, he looked really poor, to be honest, on Saturday, I thought, in my opinion. He looked really, really poor. And I'm not saying that because I don't like him or because of any other reason, then he looked really poor. Because I was looking at Fabio before Saturday and I thought, you know what, if he improves and he gets the fundamentals, he gets them down, he can probably break the top 15 in the world.
Are we not factoring in how experienced Molina is?
Molina was good, but Fabio was like, he was poor. Matt McLean said himself he was poor. He was fantastic against Vallili and he was good against Lartey, but he was really poor.
So, let me play devil's advocate here. How can someone go from being very good a fight ago and now to being terrible in the next fight?
Was that a bad night, in my opinion?
Well, do we cast people off for having bad nights?
No, we're not casting him off because his next performance, probably good. I hope he has a good performance.
Who do you think he should fight next?
Nick Webb.
I don't think Nick Webb wants to fight him.
That's the kind of fight he needs. Fabio, for his experience, is doing great, yeah. But you don't want to be beating Molina. You don't want to be diving in at that level again. Because Molina, if he had a pair of bollocks left, he would have beat him on Saturday, but he didn't. That's top bottom of it. Fabio, I think Fabio can get to world level, but he ain't there now. He's nowhere near it. Nowhere near. Imagine putting him in with a Hergovic or something like that. He'd end in a couple of rounds. And that's not being horrible. That's the truth of it. When I had 5 amateur fights and 10 pro fights, Molina would have stopped me in 30 seconds. I'm not digging at him, but the facts are he ain't got no fundamentals. And when his reflexes don't work, and when his sharp jab's not landing because he's boxing an experienced man like Molina, but if he boxes an experienced man who's still got a bit about him, he's not at that level yet. So I think they need to cool down the matching, go back to domestic level, and keep learning on the job because he's miles off. And people will say, well, that's negative or this and that, but they're just the cold hard facts. He needs to get in the gym, get his hands up, and learn how to throw a left jab, learn how to parry a shot, learn how to catch a shot on the glove. Because at some point, as Molina caught him in the 5th round, you can make him miss 1, make him miss 2, make him miss 3, but eventually you're going to get caught with something. And Molina, disappointing because he didn't even... Don't even get me started on Molina because I was really disappointed in him.
Okay, will we move on to the main event? Dylan Whyte versus Povetkin2.
Well, I thought Dylan Whyte punched perfect, to be honest. He did everything right. I think Povetkin is finished. Povetkin's not what he was, but he's hard.
Do you think he should retire? Should that be it?
Yeah, he definitely retired. He's got nothing left. But Dylan Whyte did everything he had to do. He took no chances. Put him on the jab. You know, he put his shots together and got him out of there. Didn't even get it back. So I thought Dylan Whyte did everything he needed to do. I thought he looked really good. And now he moves on. And Povetkin hopefully will not finish, but hopefully he retires because he had a great career. And you don't want to see him taking too many more like he did the other day because Dylan Whyte really put him together nice at the end and he finished it in really, really nice fashion.
What do you think Dylan should do next? Or who should he fight next?
Well, he's not
in a perfect world.
He's not going to get Joshua or Fury.
Yeah.
Hopefully, because we're hopefully going to get Joshua Fury.
Yeah.
So if that indeed is the case, if he boxes Wilder or Ruiz, either them two, I'm a happy man. I think Whyte Ruiz would be the best fight in the heavyweight division. I think it'd be all action. The Wilder fight's a massive fight, and that'd be exciting as well. But I've seen talk of Trevor Bryan for the WBA, which should be good also because he gets to pick up a version of the world title, which would be nice to see.
How does Dylan Whyte beat Deontay Wilder?
But I can't tell you that. I don't know. I think he's very capable of doing it. Well, Deontay Wilder's very capable of knocking anyone out on the planet with a single shot. So I'd be very interested in seeing it. I think it'd be a huge fight.
Absolutely. Well, what else is going on in the land of White Rhino?
Well,
you're busy coaching, training.
Well, I'm coaching. I'm a full-time coach.
Yeah.
I've got a bed.
Congratulations.
I've got a sofa.
You've got a sofa? Well, that's really impressive.
Got a TV stand.
Wow.
Got 2 beanbags.
We are coming up in the world.
I broke a plate earlier, chopping up some meat.
Is there socks in the hall or have they been taken out?
The house is spotless.
See? Look how one can progress in the space of 2 or 3 months.
All I needed were a bed.
There you go. Your prayers were answered.
Yeah, so no, everything's all right. You
Good
know,
stuff.
I'm not
I'm
one to get
glad to hear it.
excited, really. I'm not one to get really excited, but
Well, it must be something to do with your old age, is it?
well, I'm never going to catch. I'm never going to catch you up, am I? So
Doesn't matter. You're
no,
closer to 30 now, so it does not matter. My age does not matter anymore.
no. Well,
29.
when you get past 40, it don't matter anymore, does it? So
Oh, listen, don't worry about me. We'll just focus on you getting to 30. Or are you 30 now?
29, love, 29.
I'm only buzzing. I'm only buzzing. So right, who have you got in the house with you? Who am I bringing in here?
We'll put John. We'll put John first. We're going to swap seats. I know. Yeah,
Okay,
we'll swap seats because
Joe Hayden, come on, come on, come on, come on. There's questions as well, Dave, so you'll have to come back.
I will do. I'm going to have my dinner.
Okay, what you having?
Hey, you all right?
Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. You?
Good. Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, you as well.
I've heard a lot about you.
Oh, off.
Oh, off your boss.
Off my gaffer.
Off the gaffer. Well, we said that we get you and Liam on just so that we can like introduce you to the audience of Fight Connect TV. Because obviously Dave has been, spending a lot of time with you guys and training with you, and everyone's very interested in who are these guys that he's training, and obviously we saw the success that he had with Danny. So I think everyone's really interested. So what's your story?
What in boxing?
Yeah.
I've only been boxing about a year and a half, 2 years. I've been with Dave about 6 months altogether. I boxed on and off as a kid. I started about 11 years old, but I played football as a kid. So I'd always play football, and in off season I'd go to a boxing gym, and I'd just go to boxing and keep fit. But then I'd leave, and I'd go back to playing football. And coaches weren't very happy because they'd always want me to stay and have bouts, but I just weren't very interested. So because I was more about football. But then
what was it about boxing that kind of kept your eye or had your eye?
Just enjoyed the fitness side to it and the training. Yeah.
Did you spar? Were you sparring as a child, or were you just hitting the bag?
I had a skills bout at 11 years old, just a little fat kid. But I weren't really much interested. I'd rather play football back when I was a kid. But 2 years ago, I was playing football and I dislocated my knee quite badly, and I just fell out with it since then. And I've never played since. Maybe it's a fear of doing it again because pain was disgusting. Like,
yeah,
I'd rather get punched in the face. So I went down to my local gym and just started training and just stuck with it, fell in love with it, and then trained there. And lockdown, I was there for about a year, maybe, and then we went into lockdown. So I was in and out at gym with COVID, with restrictions, with it being shut, and then Dave used to bring Danny down to my gym, and I used to spar Danny and Liam quite a bit, and so I knew Dave from that, and I knew Danny from school.
Mm-hmm.
So
how did the relationship between Dave and you happen? Did you approach Dave and say, look, I know that you're maybe, was it before he retired, or did you ask him, could you train with him? How did it come about that you guys started working together?
No, what it was, during the first lockdown, I was keeping my son fit. Obviously, gyms weren't open, but I was keeping my son fit, and me and my little brother were just doing bits in the garden, sparring and stuff. I was running, and Terry Harper messaged me, saying, I've seen you keeping fit. This is when she was fighting Jonas. And obviously Jonas Southpaw and I'm Southpaw, so she says, come, do you fancy some rounds, just keeping fit and stuff. So I went down and did a few rounds with Terry for that. And then Danny messaged me a couple of weeks later and said, do you fancy coming down, doing a bit of body sparring? So me and my little brother come down to Dave's, did a bit of body. Dave went here the first time, I'm not sure where he was. It was just me, Danny, Liam and my little brother. And we came and did a bit of body sparring. And then it just took off from there, really. I came down again, and Dave were here that time, and then I just kept coming down every other day, and then eventually it ended up taking off, and now I'm full time, twice a day, every day, really.
Well, that's what I was like to say. Dave has made it like very clear from any times that I've spoke to him that if he's going to coach someone or if he's going to be a tutor to someone or work alongside someone, he needs them to be very dedicated, because otherwise he's not going to, he's wasting his time. So he's obviously seen something in you that you're willing to work hard to get to wherever it is that you want to go.
Yeah. I love the lifestyle to it as well. I love the lifestyle of being a professional athlete, the trading every day and the healthy eating. I just love the healthy lifestyle of a professional athlete. Whether it were football or boxing, I always wanted to be a professional athlete, no matter what I did. And obviously, whatever sport it was, I'm happy. You know what I mean?
So in terms of a timeline of, when we can see you out, is there something in place, or is it just keep training and see what happens?
We've had talks for August, whether it goes through or not with lockdown. I'm not sure. I'd hope to be out for August. I'll be buzzing with that, but you don't know with lockdown. It's tough, innit?
Stay ready. That's what they say.
That's it. Yeah. Well, we've been ready for ages. Yeah, we're only going to get better though. So longer it wait is, the more I feel sorry for whoever I'm fighting.
Absolutely, that's what I like to hear. Well, it was good to chat to you. Quick little introduction. I know I told Dave we're going to do something down the line. We'll do a proper interview when maybe you get something announced or there's some developments. Yeah. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited to see what happens.
No, thank you for having me on. Nice to meet you.
No problem. You too. Take it easy.
Thank you very much. Cheers. See
Bye.
You later.
Who am I getting next? It's like pick a mix with people. Hi, Liam.
You alright?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Thank you very much for taking the time to come on Fight Connect TV.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, and thank you for, and both of you, Joe as well. Thank you for your pictures and your T-shirts. Your Fight Connect TV T-shirts.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, mine were a little bit too big, so...
Well, we're going to have to fatten you up. So how's things?
Yeah, everything's absolutely brilliant. Me and Dave and Danny were all flying, doing our own things. Absolutely flying.
Who's coming?
Joe.
Well, how's that?
I love you really, Joe.
So what's been going on? Just training hard?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been training harder than hard compared to what a lot of people will be doing right now. So, yeah, it's been hard, but it's going to be paying off very soon.
Mm-hmm. So I know you've been working with Dave for quite a while, obviously with Danny as well. He's always featuring, you're always talking about you guys on his Instagram and different things. So same with you. Let's introduce you to everyone. How did you guys meet? How did you start working with Dave in the first place?
We had a mutual friend, and Dave came to meet me through one of my mutual friends, and from then, we had a good little connection. So I went and I was training very hard, and he seen Summit, so he put his time into me, luckily enough.
Mm-hmm. So how is, obviously the last year has been pretty weird because, we're all a bit like, what the hell has been going on? But for you, has it been more of kind of keep training to keep a focus?
No, do you know what? This lockdown has been the best thing that's ever happened to me, because I've actually started to learn how to box, and I'm doing everything properly now. So, it's just, I'm just coming to terms with it all properly now.
Mm-hmm. When you say learning to box, explain that. Because people will be watching and they'll say, well, I thought you've been boxing for years. So when you say learning to box, break that down.
I'm a good fighter, but I'm not really a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I'm learning to box and do it properly at a good level.
So was that something that Dave had said to you, that you need to learn how to box properly, or take this time to do it?
Well, I'm really good at making people miss and not getting hurt and taking damage, but it's all about, you got to make them miss, you got to make them pay, you got to do everything right, and I didn't have the basics. I'm good at doing things that people can't do, but when it comes to the basics, I had none of them. So I needed to take it back to square one and come again from the beginning.
So obviously the dynamic even between yourself and Joe is quite interesting. From his perspective, he's just saying there that he enjoys the sort of athleticism of boxing and sport. And for yourself, is that, would you be the same, or are you more of kind of like the fighter's fighter? You know, there seems to be two, you know, people who love a scrap, and then there seems to be the kind of competitive athlete.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely competitive, and I'm more of an athlete than I am anything else. But I also love a greasy McDonald's and a scrap. So, you know, it's all down
Hopefully
to
not at the
teamwork,
same
isn't it?
time.
But yeah, it's one of them. I'm cleaning my food up now. Like I'm not allowed in McDonald's now.
No, you'll be all the better for it in the end. But what is this about your music? Am I right in saying that you do music as well?
No, that's Joe Hayden. That. Yeah, I did a bit. I do it well. I haven't done out in a while, to be fair, because I just put in all my time and effort into this. But no, a live performance. No,
Yes, please do
I
a
don't do them.
bit.
I've got bottle, but I can't do that. I've got no
That's
bottle when
okay.
it comes to live performances.
We'll work you up to it. I won't put you on the spot now, but one day you'll have to do it.
I'll do my ring walk one day.
Well, I was going to say, obviously, we saw Lawrence Okoli came out to his own song. That could be in your future, no?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I'd be interested in doing. I just have to find the right backing track. It'd have to be something inspirational, you know.
Absolutely. So for yourself, what is the plan? What is the timeline? Or is it like Joe, kind of just keep training, stay ready?
You know what? I'd be happy to stay in this lockdown for another year. I wouldn't be, but when it comes to boxing and learning, I'd be happy to stay in this lockdown for another year. I'm in the gym, sparring very good people, and I feel like I'm up there with some decent people. So, you know, it's been a blessing in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's no time schedule really. I'm just gonna wait for amateur boxing to come back, go for nationals, and see what I can do after that.
Amazing. Well, best of luck. We'll be keeping an eye on how you get on, the progression. And we'll get you guys back on again, hopefully when something gets announced or we've something to look forward to.
Nice one. Thank you very much. It's been great.
No problem.
To you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Show the gaffer back on.
Hello, love.
Hello. Okay, so very quickly, we just have a look at the questions.
Yep.
Okay. So there is a question from, and obviously people have been putting in questions from what we were talking about earlier on. We were obviously discussing the Frank Warren card and the Matchroom card. So there's a question from, I can't pronounce it, like Xing Harv. And he said, Dave, do you think Willie Hutchinson will be able to make it back to the top?
Well, he's not been to the top. Not been to the top, so...
Well,
can he make it to the top after what happened the other day?
I think what that viewer is talking about in that perhaps he was on a trajectory.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think people expected him to lose, especially not in that fashion at the weekend. So in terms of if we look at how social media goes and how people who don't really know that much about boxing kind of say, oh, he's finished. That's it. He's done. He's never going to get to, you know.
Well, the thing with Willie is, right, he's got the best possible team he could have.
Yes.
You've got BT, Frank Warren, Shelley Finkel, Dominic Ingle.
Yeah.
You know, there's not many better teams you can have than that. Of course he can come back. Is he young? He's young. He's 22, I think. He's got loads of time. Of course he can come back, but it differs from person to person. He's got to see how he takes the defeat, you know. And it's all dependent on him. I don't know him on a deep personal level, but he's got loads of ability, you know. I could sit him and say, well, I think he should go to light heavyweight. You know, I think he should build up. You can't go from there to there without going there to there to there to there. So I could give you loads of insight on what I think about certain things, but when it comes down to it, he's working with a few people that know a bit more than me, so they should know the job. So I hope he does, because I think he's a great person. So I fully hope that he does, but it's all dependent on how he takes his defeat, which I cannot answer for you.
Absolutely. There's another question in here. I'm not sure if it's in reference to Willie, but it's just a kind of a general question. And it's from Shane O'Neill. And he has said, Dave, in your opinion, what is the best way to console a fighter after they've lost?
Well, like I say again, it changed from person to person, you know. And I took different defeats in different ways. When I lost to Dylan Whyte, when I lost to Lewis Ortiz, and lost to Tony Oka, it was like, you know what? I wasn't expected to win. I didn't expect to win, and I tried my best, and it wasn't good enough, and I kind of took it, and they were learning experiences as well, and I just took it on the chin. Whilst Lenroy Thomas at Bramall Lane, I was absolutely devastated, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of person I was, I just want to be left alone. I want to be left alone.
As a friend or a family member, is there anything that you want to hear? Because I think, fighters always say when you're winning, the phone doesn't stop hopping, and then when you lose, there's no one on the end of it, or there's not as many people on the end of it. But I think for a lot of people that don't know what it's like to be a fighter or to experience wins or losses, they don't know what to say. What do you say to someone who's lost that's a friend or a family member?
The only fear you have as a fighter when you're at the top of your game mentally is if you're going to win or lose, you know. Towards after the prize fight, I was scared of getting hurt, which is when I thought, I don't fancy boxing with this mindset, you know what I mean? Because I thought, if you're thinking that, you've done it the game. So, but apart from that, you're only scared of losing, and when you do lose, it hurts your pride, you know, as a man, as a fighting man. When you lose, it hurts your pride, but again, it depends who you're losing to. You know, for Willie example, losing is a big favourite in a fight is expected to win, where he and all his friends and family are all. He's already got the British title around his waist. That's very hard to take. Like when I lost to Lenroy Thomas, it was very hard to take. I kind of walk into the ring thinking, I can't wait to get the Commonwealth title. It's going to be right good. Next thing you know, I've got beat, and you feel like your whole world's caved in around you. So for me, I just wanted to be left alone. You know, I was never one to suffer. I didn't struggle with loss too badly because, you know, life goes on. You know, the sun will still rise the next day. You know, you're still going to go about your business the same. You're still the same person. You know, and as you get a bit older, you kind of realise, you know what, if me losing such a big problem to someone else, then they're not your fucking friend anyway. They don't care anyway. So
Absolutely,
they're only your friend when you're winning. You're not losing anything of any value. So I was never too bothered, but people take it in different ways.
I hear you. This is from Adam Hillaby, and he said, Dave, what did you make of Povetkin on Saturday night? Was he bad, or was Whyte just really good?
I thought Whyte, I think it was a bit of both. I thought Whyte was good, but he didn't do anything wrong at all. But Povetkin shot to pieces, and you can tell that. I think you can tell when someone's physically shot by the legs, and he had no balance from round one. There's zero balance, and that's the sign of an old man. So I thought Whyte was great, but also Povetkin was shot to pieces, you know. And the result of that is what we saw: is the old man getting knocked out badly. So I think it was a bit of both, to be honest.
This is a question from Paddy Mac 3, and he's asked, what is Liam's 100-metre sprint time?
I think Liam would do 100 metres in about 10.7 seconds. 10.7, 10.8 seconds.
I have no idea if that's good or bad.
He's probably the fastest person I've ever met.
Really?
To be honest, yeah, I'd say 100 metres, yeah. Anthony Tomlinson can run, but I could out sprint, and to be fair, I'm 27 at the minute, so I'm not sure if I could beat him if I was 17 stone, but he's probably the fastest person I've met, to be honest.
So are we now trying to get back then to 17 stone, or are we happy at 20?
Well, if someone's going to set me a 100 metre sprint race with some money at the finishing line, I might get fit, but if not, probably not, no.
This is from McKeenan 027, I think it's McKeenan, and they've asked, Dave, aside from coaching and training, what are your future plans? Are we going to see you commentating? And there's loads of exclamation marks.
Well, at the minute, obviously, I'm coaching and managing. I'm trying for children. And the next big thing in my life is being a father. You know, that's the biggest thing. Alongside training and managing, I would like to become a father. You know, I'm finding ways of making a living right now. I don't fight anymore, so I'm doing that, training these, managing fighters. But we've done this discussion loads of times. You know,
yes,
I'm retired now. I've got a lot of time on my hands, so I'm hopeful of being a father by the end of 2022. That is the plan, and let me tell you, I'm trying to do that 2 or 3 times a day. So
I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear you're keeping busy. How do you manage to keep the time and train 2 to fighters? I don't know.
Well, it's only lasts 2 minutes of time. So it's only time.
There's a final question before I let you go because I've kept you for way too long, especially if you're trying 2 and 3 times a day to have kids.
They've already gone. Already done.
It's from PG Tips 1983, and he's asked, what is the ultimate goal, Dave, over the next 2 to 3 years? What kind of a show would you like to get your fighters on?
Well, in 2 to 3 years' time, the 4 fighters I work with now, which is Joe, Liam, Josh Sandlin, Levi Kinsey, I don't have any plans to work with anyone else because you want to see it through from start to end. You start taking more on. You haven't got time.
Yeah.
Liam and Joe today, they train 3 hours between them. You know, you can only train 2 at a time, and luckily they're near the same size. Because if one of these was an overweight and the other was a flyweight, you couldn't train them together.
Yeah.
So I haven't got time for anyone else, to be honest. So the plan is Josh Sandland, you know, in 2 to 3 years' time, we're starting his career from scratch, basically. Like, he's 0-0 right now. He's 5'3" and 1 really is a heavyweight, but
Yeah.
he's never been looked after. The man can't throw a straight left jab, to be honest. He can't throw anything. He's got no technique at all. You know, people who say to me, "Oh, Dave, you shit, you." But the thing is, I got on the GB squad. I won a national out style. I could box. I was just a fat lazy bastard. I could box as good as any. I could really box because I was taught very well. I've been taught by some of the greatest trainers there's ever been in the game. Brendan Ingle, Dominic Ingle, Jamie Moore, my old man. These are great boxing people. Josh Sandlin not been taught a thing. Can't throw his left jab. You know, he hasn't got basic footwork. So I said to him, he's like, "Oh, well, who shall we box? Shall we box? Have a rematch with Mark Bennett, or we'll box a rematch Sokolovsky?" I said, "No, slow down. We'll get your weight down to a cruiserweight." This is what I said first time. Get to cruiserweight, yeah? And we'll start again. Now we're going to light heavyweight. His next fight with the first week of June against the fellow that's won 1 and lost 9. I said, "Josh, you're 29. Well, 28 at the time, 29 recently." I said, "We'll start again. You got between 5 and 7 years left. You got 5-7 years. That's a full career. Let's start again." So we'll have 2 or 3 fights at his new weight, and then we'll try and win an area title. Then we'll try and win an English title. Then we'll try and win a British title. I think it's all plausible and it's all possible. You know, if you can get to the weight and do it comfortably and feel good, because we'll finally he's gonna learn how to box. You know, so that's the plan.
Absolutely. And there's loads of excitement as well that you guys are working together. You know, I think a lot of people had sort of wrote him off a little bit that he wasn't going to be back.
Well, he said to me when he met me, he just got beat by a Cuban in the first round at heavyweight over in Germany. He said, "Dave, I don't want to box anymore." I said, "Well, if you don't want to box, don't box." I said, "But if you do want to box, we'll do it right." I've got my nutritionist, John Clarke. He's lost 4 stone. You know, he's
Amazing.
fit, he's strong. I've not seen him many times. He's sparring again tomorrow. We've done a bit of sparring, done a bit of pad work, and he's improving slowly but surely. But he's unbelievably tough, man. Unbelievably tough. He's quite athletic. So I think we'll go far. That's with Josh. With Levi, I manage him. I don't train him, but I manage him. And I'm hoping we can get the Ryland Charlton fight. That'd be a
good fight.
So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to hear back from Matchroom. Something for Levi. You know, I've been speaking to got a few friends in Europe, one in Poland, one in Czech Republic, one in Ukraine. So they're always on the phone. Have you got a super middleweight? No, but I've got a lightweight or a light welter. What are you saying? So with Levi, I was just waiting. Levi, I don't know Levi on a personal level massively well. But I've got a lot of respect for him because he puts a lot of work in. He just works, he trains, got a full-time job at university. So I said to him, "Look, mate, I'll manage you for free. And I'll get the best opportunities I can." Then you've got Liam and Joe, and I think in 3 years' time, they'll both. I think if these two don't become British champions as professional boxers in the next 7 years, yeah, I would pack the game in. I would never train anyone again. That's how much belief I've got in him, and I do. And I know they're sat here now, they're not listening to me, but I've got that much belief in him. Because the natural talent Liam's got, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable what he can do. Someone said to me the other day, "He's not the best athlete you've ever met." I said, "Is my well, I've about to say something really disgusting then. I've got something on me that's thicker set than Liam. You know, that's only one part of my body, but it's still thicker set than Liam. But he does 100 metres under 11 seconds. You know what I mean? He can do things that most people can't do, and that's half the job done. I said to him, all you got to do is listen, train hard, stop doing certain things, eat better, do the boxing, do the stuff that I tell you to do. And it's a penalty kick for him. He's sparring top professionals, he's sparring kids, open level seniors at a really high level, and he's holding his own and getting the better of some of them. I said to him, he's only been training properly for 6 weeks, and he's getting the better of him. I was at a really well-known gym in Sheffield the other week, and he sparred a kid there, like a really, really good kid. And the trainer at the gym said to me, he said, he's very special, that kid that you've got there.
Wow.
I said, yeah, I know. He said, he's brilliant. So all he's got to do is keep on the straight and narrow, and it's a penalty kick. I keep saying to him all the time, it's a penalty kick, mate. Do you know what I mean? And with Joe grafts harder than anybody. And I'm a big believer, if you can play any sport to an high level like you did football, you can transfer that. It's transferable skills. Even though football is completely different to boxing, if you're good enough to be a high-level footballer, you've got the right skills, you've got the right physical capabilities to become a high-level boxer as well, if you've got a bit of toughness about you, which he has. So, if they're not British, if these two don't become British champion in the next 7 years, I don't know what I'm talking about. And that's the truth of it. And I believe in them. And I said to these two, the said to my girlfriend the other day, if it weren't for Danny, Liam and Joe, yeah, I'd be living in a fucking 6-bedroom house in the country now, chilling. Do you know what I mean? Genuinely, I would. And I said to him, I cannot. There can be no more belief. You cannot believe me more when I say these things to you than seeing me fucking sleeping on a settee cushions like I were when I was training Danny and Liam. And now I sleep on a fucking mattress and I train them in the back garden. I could be living such a fucking easier, better life if I wanted to, but I don't, because I believe in him, and that's where I get my happiness from. So,
absolutely,
I genuinely do believe in him, and I know people think, "Oh, come on," but I remember the same thing that people saying about me and Danny. Said, "What are you training this kid for? It's shit." He boxed on the MTK show. He's the biggest prospect in the UK. So, people think I'm an idiot, but I ain't that fucking daft.
Well, I'm looking forward to being able to edit this clip out when they do, because that will be very nice, right?
I have got honestly, I firmly believe if these two aren't British champions in the next 7 years, both of them, not just one of them, both of them, get me the odds now for these two being British champions by January 1st, 2029. Get me them now.
20-1.
I want a bit higher than 20-1, I hope. Fucking hell.
I don't know. I've never put a bet on in my life. Is that not good?
If anyone's watching this, if you can get odds on these two becoming British champions, both of them, British Lonsdale belt holders for 2029, trust me. I know what I'm on. I don't know much about much. I do actually. I'm really good at quizzes, but I promise you now, that is, in the next 7 years and 9 months, if these two aren't professional British champions, both of them, I'd leave the game alone completely.
Well, let's hope they prove you right.
And I'll tell you why as well.
Go on.
I have probably 100 people a week asking me to train them. 2 or 3 pros. They always get pros. Will you train me? And I said, look, I ain't got the time. Or the want to do it. But every day, I'm up at 8 o'clock, cup of coffee. Come on, we train at back garden every morning because I believe in him. And I wouldn't do it if I didn't. I still have Liam living here because he's like my son. But I said to Joe, piss off, mate, I can't be arsed. But I believe in him, so I don't. We train twice a day, every day. That's the belief I've got in him.
Good stuff. Well, thank you as always for your time. I really appreciate it. There's loads and loads of questions and comments that come in. Mainly people saying very good to have you back on the show.
Well,
and good to see us back chatting together.
TV, Dave Allen TV.
Listen,
welcome,
AKA.
Every time I come on, I just want to let you know you are welcome for everything I've done for you. You are welcome.
How do I repay you for all this? You made me who I am. Well, I would not be doing this if it wasn't for you.
When you move down the road, me and the missus will come and see you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I get my annex back now. I don't have to worry about you living in that anymore.
No one said that. No one said that. Me and the missus aren't coming around to stay over anyway. No one said we weren't coming around to stay over.
Well, listen, thank you.
Right, yeah.
Well,
I'm getting rid of that now.
Oh, don't get yourself in trouble.
We're both going. Both of us are going.
Listen, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Good to chat to you. Good to catch up. And lovely to meet the lads as well. Thank you. Tell them I said thank you again. I'm looking forward To do more with them down the line.
Said thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
33 and a third.
33. Well, thank you very much, Lydia. It's always nice to see your face.
Yeah, you too. And I'm glad to hear you're keeping well and all's going well for you. So long may it continue.
In a bit.
Talk to you later.
Ta-ra. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.